It's time for Bringing the Heat with Bryan Nolen.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Is another edition of Bringing the Heat with Bryan Nolen. Yours truly here on the program. This week's edition of the program, we got a fantastic show for you. Matt DiBenedetto sat down with our Steven Stumpf in Sonoma. We're going to talk. We're going to hear that interview, and then we're going to be diving on into the craziness that happened in Sonoma. We're going to hear from Truex Jr. We're going to gear up for Iowa and everything in between. So, Trey, hit the music. Let's dive on into our interview with Matty D.
Now it's time for
Matt DiBenedetto. This is a moment I'm sure you've thought about for years throughout your career. What does it mean right now to be celebrating your first career victory?
Oh man, it's such a long time coming. Oh, praise God. All glory to God. And thank you so much. Thank you. Man, my fans I'm so thankful. They have bared with me through so much, and me being a reckless human being sometimes just through life, and so much life change. I'm so thankful. So thankful to do this. I'm so grateful for everybody. I love you all. I love the fans, Rackley Roofing, the War Shocks, this whole team. I'm out of breath. I think I was more nervous waiting to hear what happened.
To go into the Inferno with Bryan.
Stumpf front stretch here with Matt DiBenedetto here at Sonoma. Matt, just when I talked to you in April, the plan, at least for Viking and you, was to run all the races but the road courses, but a couple weeks ago it was announced you'll be full-time. What was the catalyst to making that switch to running all of them?
Yeah, man, it's been just so cool to be a part of this team, and Don, Suzanne, ownership, all the leadership here at the team, they're all in, and so we, they gave me the opportunity to come in and run a handful of races and kind of see where it all went. And I mean, I've loved it and been all in since, right from the start, and just saw their dedication and commitment to the sport, to the team, and the future plans. Just everything, man, was all so good and something I wanted to be a part of. And yeah, after we just kind of built the relationship a little bit, it quickly turned into a full-time opportunity for the rest of the year, which was awesome, and good to be back in the, driving a Ford and driving a Mustang. Great relationship with Ford, and just excited to be a part of everything this team's doing.
You now had eight races under your belt. How would you kind of view the performance of the team so far, your performance, what things you guys are doing well, what things you need to improve on?
Yeah, I think it's been good. We've obviously qualified in all the races and had good, qualifying efforts, some good solid races, some little mishaps and things that have happen and hurt, results and finishes. But I'd say on average, when things have gone smooth, we can, run up there in the top 20, no problem, and making, big improvements. And obviously it's been a lot. We're thankful for, Ryan Segrayson helping us out as well. And it's been a lot, going from what was intended to be just a small part-time effort to full-time. So that takes, it's a lot of growth and transition. So I think, the team's doing a good job of working hard to be in a position to execute, each and every weekend, and a lot of bobbing and weaving, to get to where we need to be. But either way, I think we're just going to continually as a team get better and better and better every week and throughout the year as we progress and build this thing.
And since you mentioned the alliance with the RSS, Ryan just barely missed out on the win at Texas. Then the following week he won the Dash for Cash 100K at Talladega. Has that been seen? Have you guys seen an uptick in performance and just since those huge moments for RSS and by extension you guys?
I think our teams are kind of on a little bit different programs, but obviously we're thankful to have help of them, and obviously their success directly helps us and our success, even though we are our own team. We do have some help from them. So it's been great to see, the success that Ryan Segrayson had, and thankful for, the friendship too. Ryan's a good friend and an awesome guy, great driver. I've always had a ton of respect for him. So it's neat to see the progress of that, that race team and SciAps, everything that they've done supporting the race team, and also sponsoring, our team as well. So it's good to have, see their success and just awesome to be a part of this team. It kind of feels like building a business from the ground up. It's neat to be with people who are all in for the future.
And here we are this weekend at Sonoma. the closest track to Grass Valley where you grew up. So does it feel like homecoming? Does it feel special to come back and run here?
Yeah, oh for sure, always, man. It's good to come back, to have family at the racetrack, and to be back hometown where I grew up. I grew up only a couple hours from here in Grass Valley, California. So it's always really fun to come here. I love road course racing in general. I get to with the schedule, I got to we race Portland and then come down here, so we're on the West Coast the whole time. So I got to come and hang with my family all week, and then come out here and race this weekend is a special one.
You have a lot of family, friends in attendance for this one?
Yep, I do. Yeah, some of my folks. My dad wasn't feeling well, but they were intending on coming. My niece, nephews, they always come out to this one whenever we're racing Sonoma. So that's always fun and special. And sometimes to be able to take my nephews or my niece across the stage at driver intros and stuff, just the little things that make it a really special race.
And you've had success here in the past, top 5 in the Cup car in 2019. You finished top 10 in the Truck Series Sonoma race in 2022. What do you enjoy about this track and just the technicality of it?
Yeah, like you said, this track compared to other road courses is very technical. So the driver can make up a lot. It makes a big difference. Takes a lot of discipline. It's not like what I call a cookie cutter road course, that's for sure. It is very technical, very on edge. Like turn 10 is super hairy and on edge every lap that you run. So it's just a special, fun place that rewards a lot of discipline, and I think experience pays off. We see that with Shane Van Gisbergen, and just road course experience really pays off at this place compared to some other road courses.
And then you posted on it on social media earlier this week, but that moment in 2015 with you in the safety truck. Is that what happened? What was your thoughts when that happened? Is it just a funny memory just to look back on?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I make the highlight reel every year, which is funny every time I come back to Sonoma. It's a funny, cool memory. It was my first year in the Cup Series with BK Racing, and we're running, and they say pit road's open. We're like, okay, coming in the pit, and then they're like, uh-oh, look out. We got safety trucks and all kinds of stuff on pit road. So I'm coming down pit road, and I'm like looking, I'm like, okay, my box is there, the truck's here. Like, I think I can get around him, especially if he sees that I'm trying to, get around him and get in my pit box. And I thought he'd maybe check up, but instead of checking up, I think he gassed up. And he was trying to, just get out of the way, and sees all these cars coming around him. And we got totally cleaned out, and it was, maybe not funny in the moment, but definitely hilarious looking back, in a funny memory. I feel kind of like in a different way, in a much safer manner. Like every time we go to Texas, you have Michael McDowell on the highlight reel every time for his big crash. Every time we come to Sonoma, I get to see me getting spun out by the safety truck. Obviously here at Sonoma, it also, back in the Xfinity cars, we've had plenty of drivers that have run kind of all 3 series. They've said that, the Xfinity cars are, hard to drive, but they're super fun to drive. Has that kind of been your experience with racing them this season? Yeah, because I hadn't driven an Xfinity car in a long time, and honestly, for me, they're my favorite to drive because they have real low downforce, low grip. You're sliding around a lot, very out of the racetrack and on edge to drive. So I love them. I love the slip sliding around and being out of the throttle a lot. I think it puts some things more in the driver's hands. So I love these cars. It's fun to drive. They're fun on the road courses because they do, you don't have a lot of stopping power. You don't have a ton of grip. So it's just very old school stock car racing type of feel driving these things. I love them.
And again, just to go back, just because of how fun these cars are to drive, it makes this full-time opportunity all the more sweeter, right?
100%. When I've said for a long time, I've been like, man, I'd love to get back behind the wheel of some Xfinity stuff, and I enjoy driving the trucks. The style of racing is just so different. The Xfinity Series, these cars is really what I can jump in anything and go fast, but it's just what I probably enjoy the most is the way that these things drive. So yeah, man, it was a big blessing getting to run full time in Xfinity cars. My favorite cars to drive, super fun, and with a great group of guys too. Great team owners, great sponsors. I'm having a lot of fun this year.
And we are almost halfway through 2024. Are you starting to think about 2025 either with this team or somewhere else, just in terms of planning ahead?
Yeah, absolutely. Thankful to have that commitment throughout the rest of this year and to build. And I'm an all-in kind of guy. So I just I really love the relationship that we've already built with Don and Suzanne, our team owners, and this whole group, and we're really in alignment, as far as what the future plans are, and also honestly, I'm all in with this team. As long as they want me, I'm all in with the vision and building for the future, because we're just getting started. Like I said, it's like building a business from the ground up. This is just the very, very beginning of Viking Motorsports, and I see a very bright future for this team.
All right. Well, thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
Once again, that was Matt DiBenedetto. Big thanks to Steven Stumpf for coordinating that interview. Big thanks to everybody at Viking Motorsports for coordinating that interview as well. Trey, let's dive on into what is still hot, my friend.
What's still hot? It's time to upgrade you on the latest news in NASCAR.
What is still hot? I'm going to bring into this guy. He is always hot, literally and figuratively, at Trey Lyle VT. Hey, I'm not the one that was using the term yummy in a podcast. That was all you, my friend. But Trey Lyle joined the program. Trey, how is it going, my friend? And I don't think we're going to be talking as much Justin Bieber as the Happy Hour podcast was yesterday, my friend.
We were not. I mean, I just I'm excited to to do this. I like you. I'm here every week for this podcast.
Thank you. Let's dive on into some news and notes. A guy that's not always here, but he's going to be making a stop in the NASCAR Cup Series. It'd be Joey Hand. He's going to be piloting the number 60 car for RFK Racing, currently a Ford factory driver. He is going to be joining the stable of Brad Keselowski and Chris Buescher for a road course event. Now, Trey, we've seen him run for Rick Ware Racing. We saw him run at COTA, Sonoma, Road America, road course at Indy, Watkins Glen, the Roval. That was all in 2022, but we have not seen him in a while. I got to imagine this is his best chance at getting at least a top 10, top 5, maybe even a win, because this guy is he's definitely a superstar.
Yeah, he's sort of like a mentor he does a lot of simulator work for, road course racing, and he mentioned how he's worked with RFK in the simulator a lot. So he already has a relationship there. I think this is a guy who's worked very closely with Ford. It makes sense if you're RFK. You're putting people that are experienced in those said disciplines, whether it's David Reagan on at Daytona, or Cam Waters, this past weekend at Sonoma, and then obviously Brad Hand at Chicago Street Course. So I'm not shocked by this, and I think it's probably a smart move for RFK to get a third car. They're going to be fast. Buescher was really good this past weekend, and if you're your Hand, I mean, this is your best, probably your best opportunity, as you mentioned.
Another one that we're going to be diving on into, it's apparently looking more and more likely that the NASCAR and the charter agreement not going to be agreeing to a deal anytime soon. Multiple owners told the Associated Press Agenda Friday that NASCAR's most recent proposal was one of the worst offers yet from the Stock Car Series' sanctioning body. Among the complaints, of France family, which owns NASCAR as a private company, still won't budge on making the charters permanent. The series made rollbacks from previous offers, and the proposal now includes a provision that would allow the France family to purchase charters, which are at the heart of the series' business model. Is there cause for concern yet? I don't think I'm in the part where I'm like Davey Siegel, in which I'm going to eat my shirt, but I'm not in the cause for concern like Michael Massey, in which there is a little bit of cause for concern. Where do you fall in there?
Very much in the middle. I give Davey a lot of credit. He was the voice of reason yesterday. He was like the first one. It's definitely concerning. I mean, all these type of negotiations, I think the best way to compare these negotiations, and I thought about this today, it's a labor negotiation at the end of the day. It's not like, owners in the NFL do not negotiate with Roger Goodell whether they're going to have a season. You have the players and the owners that negotiate. And right now you have owners and a sanctioning body negotiating, and it's all about money and who wants the most money. So at the end of the day, I think a deal gets done, but I'm afraid that a lot has to happen in order to get there. So it's going to be cut close to the wire, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's June 12th when we're recording this, and I would have expected a deal already, but nothing yet. So we're just gonna have to wait and twiddle our thumbs and wait.
So you're not eating a shirt?
No, God no. No.
I agree with Massey though. Like I kind of want to see the split.
Yeah, like part of me kind of wants to, but like I don't think we realize how much damage it made IndyCar. Like IndyCar was so popular until that split, and it's still never recovered
at today without the car split. And look at golf. Look at golf right now. Like it's in modern sports. Like live in the PGA is the split, and what if Saudi Arabia is like, let's take advantage of this, and they offer millions of dollars to Rick Hendrick and Roger Penske to say, hey, we'll pay you to come race at X tracks.
But Scotty Scheffler didn't go to the Live Tour. So are you saying Kyle Larson's gonna side with NASCAR while maybe a guy like William Byron
do whatever Rick Hendrick tells him to do, because that's who he signed with? It's not like the individual drivers have the only individual drivers that have a say in where they can race next year in terms of what series is Denny Hamlin and Brad Keselowski. That's about it in terms of ones that are signed for next year.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I mean, we still got a whole silly season up in the air that could be even crazier. We'll dive on into that down the road. Trey, let's dive on into our soundbite of the week, where our Steven Stumpf caught up with a displeased Martin Truex Jr.
Well, Tony, what angered you at the end of the race? What did you take issue with?
What the hell do you think I was mad about? Dumb little runs us clear down to the infield. He wants to about everybody else, and he's the one that drives like a little. I'm going to bust his ass.
Thanks, Tony.
Thank you.
And short track racing.
It's time for the sound bites of the week.
Martin, just how frustrating is it to just run out, right at the very end of the race when you're in second?
Yeah, it stinks. We worked hard all day to have a good finish, and clearly in second, run out of gas in the last corner. So I don't know, just one of them years,
I mean, yeah, he said it best. Still nothing in the win column for MTJ. There's been rumors, there's been reports that maybe 3 weeks is the timetable on whether or not he's going to get the decision on whether to return to 2025 with Joe Gibbs or just to retire. Where do you see the future of Martin Truex Jr.?
I don't know. I mean, Lord knows. Last year, I think he came back. So who knows with him, man? He seems like the guy that all he wants to do is fish and, hunt, but I guess he still wants to race. So I don't know. That's where I'm at. I don't know.
You know who he kind of reminds me of? Kenny Chesney, where he just loves to be on a beach or fish or just chill and just does not care about anything social media wise or anything of the world. He just likes to just chill. And I truly feel like once he retires, we'll never hear from him again.
Yeah, I would not be shocked. The next time we'll hear him after he retires is his Hall of Fame speech, or if Dale gives him a call and be like, "Hey man, you want to do my podcast?"
Fair enough. Trey, let's dive on into our final thoughts and wrap it up, bro.
It's going to be a drag race all the way back to the start-finish line. No caution. They're side by side, right to the line. Big crash. Here they come. Checkered flag.
The checkered flag is out, and it's time for the final thoughts.
The air, whatever you want to rant, rave, or anything in between. Trey Lyle, the floor is yours, my friend.
I feel like I've been raving, and reviewing about NASCAR all week. I just want to say this, I agree with what Davey said yesterday about, doing TV is hard. And I think Fox sometimes deserves some criticism, but they did have improved numbers this year. They had up in viewership, and I think they improved in some areas. I think they had a really good booth this year. I hope Mike Joy comes back. I hope they keep the dynamic between Kevin Harvick and Clint Boyer, because I think it's really well when you get two guys who know each other very well. You used to see it at NBC with Steve Letarte and Dale Earnhardt Jr. But that flipping to the NBC side, I am very intrigued on how this booth will be received by fans, because no Dale Earnhardt Jr. Is definitely something. It's a big hole. I mean, he was the most popular driver in the sport. You could argue he's still the face of the sport to some degree, because I think if you go up to people like who name a NASCAR driver, most people might pick Dale Earnhardt Jr. So I am, I want to give Fox a little bit of its flowers. They did improve viewership this year, which ultimately is a good thing for us as media members. And I am intrigued to see what NBC does this year with, obviously I'm pumped to see Lee Diffie eventually get into the booth by the end of the year. But ultimately, it's going to be something that I'm very intrigued by.
I'm going to go a little bit off the grid here and talk about something that was happening on Tuesday on social media. And yes, social media is not the best at times, and certainly it wasn't on Tuesday. But there was a thing that was written on Racer.com by a reporter. I'm not going to name his name. He doesn't really deserve it, to be quite honest. That accused our Christopher DeHardy of publishing something off the record. Now, for those that don't know, you can have conversations with drivers off the record that are not going to be publicized. And sure, there's often times that people take advantage of that. This was not that. And I just want to commend people that are helping and praising Christopher DeHardy. And the thing is, once again, I'm not just saying this because he's my colleague. I'm saying this because he is a fantastic reporter, and he proved it with his audio. And just hearing the other things, and this happens in NASCAR too. There was a reporter from Speed Cafe, and he said in the atmosphere of Sonoma Raceway in the media center was totally and utterly devoid of atmosphere. And sure, you can not cheer and everything, but it can also be a happy time. So I think I feel like we as journalists need to support other journalists and not tear it down, because there's a lot of negativity in journalism. And why are we going after each other when we can actually report the good and not against one another?
Yeah, why can't we just get along, Brian?
I don't know.
I don't know why you're mean to me all the time.
I know, but I'm trying my best. I'm
just kidding. You're a good
pal. You're a good pal. You're a good pal, buddy. But you know who also is a good pal? Our Michael Massey. He's going to be joining the program next week. Him and Mark Crystal got all the latest on coverage from Iowa this upcoming weekend. Really, really fast, Trey. What are we going to expect at Iowa?
I am afraid it's not going to be a good race based off of what the drivers have said. One-lane racetrack, given the weird repave, which, given the weather in the Midwest, they had to do if you were in NASCAR. Going back and watching those old Xfinity Series races, Iowa delivered some bangers, and I hope we get a banger. I think we will in one series, because the Xfinity Series always does, but I'm afraid of one-lane racing in the Cup Series.
Yeah, it's going to be weird. It's going to look weird because of the repave, and hopefully it's not going to be whoever gets out first from pit road is going to win the race. But we'll just have to wait and see what happens on NBC on Sunday night. At Trey Lyle VT,
It's on USA.
Oh, my bad. At USA, but it's on Sunday night, not Sunday afternoon. It's on Sunday night, Father's Day. But at Trey Lyle VT, at the Brian Nolen. Once again, coming up on the Front Stretch Podcast Networks, my man Tino's got all the latest betting odds for the inaugural race at Iowa on Through the Gears, and then Stock Car Scoop, the Pit Straight, and then Happy Hour all throughout the week. You wanna tease what's coming up in a couple weeks on Happy Hour, my friend? Because apparently our boss Tom Bowles was too afraid yesterday.
He yelled at me yesterday as you watched the beginning of Happy Hour on the phone, saying he had to postpone it. So I took a math class just for this to make sure I got my math right. And
disappointed. I'm disappointed in you.
I am. I've been emotionally scarred.
You have. You sir are a victim. You're a victim.
I am.
It's true. It really is. That's coming up in a couple weeks, but big thanks to Trey Lyle. Big thanks to everybody at the sports program for Trey Lyle. I am Brian Timothy, Dale Nolen. Talk with you next week to recap the inaugural race in Corn Country.
What's up? Michael Massey here, frontstretch.com. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button.